Hey, what's up guys? JQ back with Teqreation. So this video is a little bit different for what I usually do, but I couldn't find any videos that clearly explain this topic, so I decided to just do it myself. So we've already seen smartphones that accept dual SIM cards for a little while now, one of the most recent popular ones being the OnePlus 5T. So obviously that's great if you have a business on the side or if you're just living that shady lifestyle, then go ahead and do you. But that scenario may not always work for everyone. What if you don't want to have two phone numbers and you want to keep it simple with one phone number? Or let's say, what if you're like me or some other tech tuber out there that often has two phones and you want to be able to receive calls and texts on both devices? Now, I am fully aware that there are some Wi-Fi calling services out there that will allow you to do that, but again, you must be connected to Wi-Fi, so that within itself has its own practical limitations. As you may already know, it's impossible to have one phone number attached to two SIM cards simultaneously. You just can't do it because one SIM card would deactivate the other and vice versa. At least that was the case up until now. Apparently T-Mobile has quietly figured out a way to do this. So the way T-Mobile was able to do this is with something called paired digits. Now for those who are already familiar, this is much different from T-Mobile's regular digit service, and I'll explain how in just a second. So apparently paired digits has been in beta for a little bit over a year now, which is how I'm just finding out about this, and it's even how some T-Mobile employees and T-Mobile reps that I spoke to had no idea what I was talking about when I brought this up to them. Anyways, just to give you guys a little bit of context. So with T-Mobile's Digits service, similar to how a dual SIM card smartphone works, the Digits app would allow you to activate two lines within the app. This way you can use one phone to receive calls and text messages from two different numbers on one device. Alternatively, you can have your primary phone number activated on a second Wi-Fi enabled device like an unused smartphone or a tablet, just so long you're using the Digits app and you're connected to Wi-Fi or have a network connection, etc, etc. So what's wrong with that? Well, it kind of defeats the purpose in having a second smartphone because you won't be able to use the Digits app out and about unless you're connected to Wi-Fi, because this doesn't have a SIM card. Now you can swap your main SIM card between both phones constantly, but honestly, who wants to do all that? And this is how paired digits changes all that, by allowing two separate SIM cards to share the exact same phone number. Now I know what you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, he just said that was impossible. So after speaking with T-Mobile tech support, here's what they explained. Basically with paired digits, they assign a virtual phone number to a second SIM card as sort of a placeholder in order to activate the SIM card. They then mask that virtual number with your primary phone number, and it just somehow works. I still don't understand it, but he didn't really go into more detail with it. So at first I was like, okay, that's just like simple call forwarding. No big deal, we've had that for years. But apparently it's not, because that virtual number that they give you on the SIM card doesn't really exist. In fact, if you try to call it, here's what you'll get.
The person you have dialed is not able to receive calls at this time.
So you would have to dial your primary phone number in order to have the duplicate SIM card ring. So once you go ahead and call T-Mobile and activate the paired digits service with high-speed data, both SIM cards are basically identical to each other and they work independently from one another with the same phone number. Both make phone calls, both text, and both are equipped with high-speed LTE. So when you call or text people from either smartphone, your primary phone number will show up on the recipient's end and they'll have no idea from which device you're contacting them from. Now what's cool is when you're receiving incoming calls and text messages, it's happening simultaneously on both phones. And if I was to answer a phone call on one device, it'll go ahead and cancel it on the other device. Now weirdly enough, even though the phone would cancel on either SIM once answered, if I was to take that phone call on my primary SIM, I can place an entirely separate phone call on the duplicate SIM even though the line is already active, and neither call will drop or be disconnected. Alright, so now that's out the way, there are a few things that you need to know before diving into this. The first one being, you must be on the T-Mobile One plan and then ask to enable paired digits with high-speed data in order to use the whole duplicate SIM card setup. If you want to learn more, I'll go ahead and drop a link down below in the description for your convenience. Now the second thing that you need to know, which is a little bit of a drawback, is that only your primary SIM card, not the duplicate one, will be able to receive shortcode SMS. Now, shortcode SMS are those text messages that you receive whenever you log into a secure site and they shoot a PIN number to your phone to verify your identity. Yeah, those will only come in on your primary SIM card. You may get some on the duplicate, but 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna go to your second phone. So you wanna make sure you have your primary SIM card next to you whenever you're doing those logins on your computer and whatnot. And the reason this is done is for security purposes to prevent malicious behavior. Obviously, that'll just make you a lot more vulnerable to hacking. So I completely understand why that's done. I had to learn the hard way when I was locked out of my accounts when I was out and about with the duplicate SIM card. So now that you know, hopefully you don't have to go through that yourself. Now the third thing is very important. As you've noticed, I'm using the Galaxy S9 Plus along with the iPhone 10. So you already know what problems are going to come into play. iMessage. So iMessage is notorious for screwing up people's text messages whenever they go from iPhone to Android, Android to iPhone, etc., etc. So in order to have both of these phones work comfortably together, you're gonna have to turn off iMessage and FaceTime, because if you don't, if you want to take your duplicate SIM card out for the day and someone with iMessage messages you, it's only gonna come in on the iPhone 10 and it's not gonna go to your duplicate SIM card phone. So by turning off iMessage and FaceTime, that'll ensure you that the text messages will come in on both devices, no matter which smartphone you decide to take out for the day. Now the fourth and last thing is that your text message conversations are going to be all over the place, because if you're going to be switching back and forth, it's not going to be chronological. So if you're texting someone in your bed from the iPhone, but you go to the kitchen and you continue texting them from the Galaxy S9, your replies that were sent out from the iPhone won't be showing on this phone. So conversations are going to look a bit wonky. So if that's something you're willing to put up with, then by all means, check this out. For me, I've been enjoying it so far. It's allowed so much flexibility, especially owning two smartphones, not having to swap SIM cards or anything like that. I can just get up and walk out the house with whichever smartphone I'd like instead of carrying two smartphones all the time, because that can be a little annoying. So yeah, that's basically all there is to know about T-Mobile's paired digits. I for one think this is pretty cool. It's dope as hell. I didn't know that kind of technology existed. I just didn't know you can do that. But I want to know more about what you guys think. Go ahead and let me know by dropping those comments down below. And if this is your first time on the channel and you enjoyed this video, be sure to show some love to that like button and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on some more tech videos. Oh yeah, stay tuned for upcoming coverage on the Galaxy S9 Plus. You don't want to miss out on that. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.